for the station side setup, it's going to pretty much mirror the access point. The mode is going to be station WDS. When you set your AP to AP WDS and your station to station WDS and they talk to each other, this creates a fully transparent layer 2 bridge. So all data encapsulation will be intact, all MAC addresses intact. And like I said, this will work for the majority of people, especially if you're using PPPoE servers and Radius servers. The channel width needs to match the AP. Data rates, same thing, keep them on auto. Security, it's got to match the AP exactly. AirMax, it says AirMax on here, but all of our AirMax devices, our M-series devices, as a station can auto-detect if the AP has AirMax turned on, and they'll follow accordingly. That's why the option's actually not in the web UI on the station. So no ACK off, auto ACK on. AirMax priority, it's set per client requirements. AirMax priority is QoS for the AirMax system. You have none, low, medium, and high. And basically, it's just allotting more time slots to the higher that the priority is set to. You can use that for business customers and that type of thing. AirMax in a point-to-point setup. This is the other quick setup here. I put in 17 kilometers or less. I'll get into that in a second. AP side, same thing. As a bridge, you want it to be fully transparent. So you want to set it to APWDS. Channel width 40 megahertz. You definitely want to use 40 megahertz, especially when you're using narrow beam antennas like a dish. That way you don't have as much of an interference problem when you're using that type of antenna. The data rate, same thing. Best auto, security, WPA, WPA2. AirMax on. AirMax should be on in 95% of most point-to-point applications. There is the rare case where you're in like the perfect environment with zero interference. In that kind of case, AirMax will actually give you about a 5% performance hit. But if there's any type of interference, AirMax will perform better than AirMax off. NOAC, same thing. 17 kilometers less, you leave it off, and keep auto ACK on. Go to the next slide here. Okay, station side setup mirrors the AP. Station WDS, channel width, matched to the AP. It's got to be matched. You know, best auto data rates, security, WPA, WPA2, AirMax on. It'll auto detect, like I said earlier. NOAC should always be off for 17 kilometers or less. And then auto ACK definitely on. Now, we have a unique situation. There's a limitation in the Atheros hardware, which prevents ACK timing from going beyond 17 kilometers in 40 megahertz channel. So we came out with a point-to-point no ACK mode. It should only be used on 17 kilometers or farther links in a 40 megahertz channel. So everything's going to mirror the same setup we just had, except for we turn this no ACK on. And this eliminates ACK timing altogether. So we can go ahead to the next slide then. So basically APWDS, 40 megahertz, same thing. Station side is going to mirror the AP. Station WDS, channel width matches the AP. Data rates, best auto. Security, same thing. Auto ACK. Auto ACK's going to be ignored, so that's another thing. When you turn the no ACK on, it doesn't matter what you put in for the auto ACK settings; they're just going to get ignored. So those are just the basic setups for those four, those couple types of links, and for the majority of people, those will help you get started, and majority of your customers, if you're a reseller, that'll help you get started. So, Ben?
Thanks, Mike. So that's kind of the bulk of, or kind of a quick rundown of kind of a product overview, and then some of the enhancements that we've added into the M-Series products through the spectrum analysis, and then some best practices when installing the products. One thing I also wanted to point out before we get to any of the Q&A piece is we've put together an AirMax CPE comparison guide. There's been a lot of questions of, what type of a product do we use in this type of environment at this distance, and we're going to be doing more along those lines, providing more tools to you to be able to calculate some of those things. But basically what we've done, I want to point you to, this is available on the website under AirMax CPE comparison guide. You can go in and see the difference as far as each one of the products that can be used as a CPE, your NanoStation, Loco, NanoBridge, PowerBridge, AirGrid, Rocket M, Rocket Dish. So basically a combination of all of the products comparing against each other, 1 by 1 versus 2 by 2, antenna gain, output power, all of those things. So it's a great resource when you're looking at what clients to use at certain distances and with certain performance requirements. I'd invite you to take a look at that CPE comparison guide that's on the web. As well, I wanted to just again, before we open it up to questions, talk a little bit about, we skimmed over the 900 megahertz and 3 gigahertz products. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions for that. I just want to reiterate, when we start shipping the 3 gigahertz products, the 2 products that are shipping first, which again, I think the dishes themselves have already been shipped to distributors, and the rockets are shipping now. But basically those 2 rockets, the rocket dish and the rocket M365. So primarily from the beginning, they'll be used in point-to-point configurations. However, the rockets are capable of being used as an AP. So if you want to hook them up to an existing dual polarity 3 gigahertz sector out there, you can do that, and also use the rocket as a client device with either the dish, if it's a longer client, or some type of a dual polarity panel or whatever that's available in the market. We will be releasing some client devices for the 3 gigahertz band. As far as announcements go, we're probably about a month out on announcing those client devices. Hopefully sooner than that, but probably around that time frame. 900 megahertz, again, we'll announce within the next couple of weeks, and shipping just beyond that. So anyway, that'll answer some of those questions. Another thing that we've talked about at some of these shows is we will be coming out with, and just to kind of get your minds going on this, we will be coming out with an enterprise access point for indoor networks, MDU deployments, schools, universities, those type of deployments. So kind of, if you're already doing some deployments along those lines, we will be coming out with a product that meets those type of applications, and probably within the next few weeks we'll have some news available on that product. So from there, let's open it up to Q&A. And again, just before we get any further, I want to thank you guys. It looks like we've got 200 plus people on the line. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen to us. Hopefully this has been worthwhile, and hopefully we'll have some good questions. So thank you.
Hey guys, that's a wonderful presentation. I'd like to thank Mike and Ben, and we have a lot of questions. As you just mentioned, we have over 200 people on this call, and number keeps going up as we're speaking. So let's get to the questions. One of the most frequently asked questions in this grouping is about protection of these radios. Can you talk a little bit about lightning and surge protection that goes with your radio system?
Yeah, definitely. I could talk about that one. It's pretty much a standard grounding system. For all of the installations with our devices, you want to make sure that you're using shielded cable and not low-quality cable either. You can get some knockoff cable from China that's pretty much garbage and won't really provide any protection. But you run the shielded cable down to one of our grounded POEs, and you make sure that POE is properly DC grounded. Make sure the electrical outlet is actually grounded. From there, you also need to run an Ethernet surge suppression device in line. In the U.S., it's pretty much mandatory to run those devices on the outside of buildings. But you run that shielded cable. It's grounded to the POE. You have the Ethernet surge suppression in there. In most cases, that's going to provide enough protection for your links. In certain parts of the country, you need to take adequate, even take the grounding methods even further with additional ground wires and that type of thing.
Hello?
Yep. Ben?
Ben, are you there? Mike, the next question is the nano bridge a good solution for backhaul at 6 to 8